everybody, my name is Brian, that is Shane, and you are watching the Popcast Unleashed. And this is our review of Obi-Wan Kenobi, episodes 1 and 2, which coincidentally launched at the same time as the Star Wars celebration. I'm sure that was good marketing, because going forward, the following weeks, we will be reviewing this show, but on Wednesdays instead of Fridays or whatever. Shane, how you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm just enjoying the heck out of this. Glad to be here, hanging with the members. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, Jeremy?
Yeah, and all you other members that will show up later and watch this, we appreciate you. And this is what you're paying for, a faster look and seeing what's going on, even though it's been several days since it came out. Ordinarily, it will be a lot sooner. So,
okay, this is how it works, everyone. If you are not aware, if you see to the left of Shane or the right of me, right there, these little buttons that say 0, 0, up and down, these will be our up and down counters. It's very simple. If I like something, I go up. If I dislike something, I go down. Same with Shane, up and down and all around. We're starting out at a flat 0, and by the end of this review, there will be an average taken, and that will be the official Popcast score for these 2 episodes. Shane?
yes, sir.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
It is time! And I'm putting this little button here, and of course I didn't set it up correctly, so let me just quickly fix so you can actually see it. My bad.
All good, man. Listen, we do what we can, right?
All right.
Hanging out here on a happy Memorial Day to everybody.
All right, here it is. All right, finally, after 9 years and many false starts, we have gotten...
Wait, 9 years?
Or 6 years, or whatever, I forgot. Long time.
Wait, what are you talking about?
We've been waiting for Obi-Wan for a long time.
Oh, 9 years Obi-Wan, but 17 years since episode 3.
Right.
17.
And we open up on a shot of the younglings. This is Order 66, right? What is this?
It's Order 66. Yeah, it's a flashback. And basically we have stormtroopers have basically gone into the Jedi chambers, and they're killing younglings. And apparently, you know, what we didn't see in episode 3 was there were more than just younglings in the temple. Apparently there were actual Jedi there as well,
which makes
sense.
And
all we get to see was Anakin killing younglings.
Yeah, I really wish we would have gotten just like an homage to that scene. I'm just saying, because it's hilarious. Master Anakin, they're everywhere.
Well, can we just say that they did a good job here? So the first 4 minutes of episode 1 is basically a breakdown of what happened throughout the prequels to get us to this place.
Right.
So that was kind of nice. They broke that down for people who didn't watch the prequels. This Order 66 flashback, if you notice, and later on it's going to come into play, you have Reva, third sister. Nari, I think, is the character, the little girl there in with braids on, little black girl with braids.
Okay.
And so I believe she's there during Order 66 and was training to become a Jedi. Obviously, we're going to find out later that she's actually pretty powerful with the Force, or the dark side, whatever the heck's going on.
Now, why would someone that was training to be a Jedi and have this trauma as a child with the bad guys coming in and killing all of her friends, why would she want to become one of the Inquisitors?
Well, see, I think that's what the mystery is. I think that's, you know, one of the mysteries of this show is going to be that, you know, how she ended up where she is. The thing about doing a prequel, as you know, is that there isn't a lot of mystery sometimes. You know what's going to happen to the characters, and so we're really telling the story of what happened, you know, at that point, or, you know, in between. We're telling the story that there's no danger. We're not afraid Obi-Wan's going to get killed, or Luke, or Leia, or any of these people, Uncle Owen, you know. But this Reva is a new character that we don't know what's going to happen to. And there's a lot of people out there talking about how they don't really like the Reva character, that she's like an angry black woman or something. And for those people who, let me just say, starting out this thing, if you are politically and ideologically, if you've aligned yourself opposite of Disney, because of how you politically or ideologically or socially feel, that's totally fine. There's a lot of things Disney does that we don't agree with and a lot of things we hate. And I got to tell you that when they took over the Star Wars franchise, we quickly was very upset with Disney as well. We weren't unhappy with 7. We weren't unhappy with Rogue One, but we quickly became unhappy and we couldn't stand episodes 8 and 9, frankly speaking. And Disney screwed that up. And in a way, they screwed up Star Wars for us. But for us, we have this feel of, we want Star Wars to be good. We want to give people a chance to make Star Wars good. And so we kind of have a little bit more optimistic take, perhaps, or a hopeful take, that we want it to be good, but we're still going to tell the truth. And in this situation, having Reva as a character in here, while some people may not like it, some people may think that, hey, they just stuck a woman in here to take over the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So far that's not what I'm seeing. But I am, it is an opportunity to introduce a new character. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't understand how the antagonist being a woman is like a problem.
I don't know. We're seeing a lot of those comments though.
That's odd to me. It's like, okay, so I guess no hyperbole here, but like if the bad guy was a woman, we're complaining that that's a woman. If the good guy was the one, we'd complain as a woman. So what you're telling me is that we need to have the show have all men all the time.
I don't know. I think it's random individual comments.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, someone explained to me in the comment section, why is it that what makes you upset that one of the antagonists is a woman?
I think they're going to say, can I just be them for a second?
Yeah, be devil's advocate.
So here's what I think people will say is Rey was brought in with perhaps trying to garner a female audience. And it feels like in a lot of situations that Disney has tried to come across with this more female empowerment thing. And I think that comes across poorly to a lot of guys as being a forced thing. But in this case, Reva is not in power. In fact, she's at the bottom of the totem pole of all the Inquisitors. And it's forcibly shown. She's put in her place many, many, many times in this first couple of episodes. So I wouldn't say that that's necessarily the case. And she's also the bad guy, at least so far.
Yeah, she's the bad guy, and she's at the bottom of the totem pole. So like the complaints to me just sound like you're still mad about previous Disney atrocities, and you're superimposing it onto this because this doesn't really fit what the real complaint is.
Right. And I think we'll talk overall later what we think. But as far as connecting episode 3 with this series, I think they did a really good job of that, and continuing that story. But I believe here in the Grand Inquisitor, in the Order 66, that's our first up-down vote, right?
Yeah. So what do you want to give it?
So I'm giving it a down vote.
Okay. All that just for a down vote.
So, well, I mean, I think we needed to set the stage for the series. Because so that you guys know, we put out a video on our Prime channel, and it got flame sprayed with hate, with people just absolutely hating this series already. So we were a little surprised so quickly, anyways. But I gave it a downvote because, I mean, frankly speaking, I didn't like seeing Jedis being taken out by like 2 stormtroopers.
Yes. Can I give it a downvote for the same reason?
Yeah, I think so.
I was gonna say the same exact thing, so I'm glad we're on the page here. It seemed like Jedis they were just getting dispatched by some like clumsy stormtroopers, and it felt off to me. And maybe they're trying to like course correct and make the clumsy stormtroopers a little more lethal. But there's no course correction here. Like, it's been established for like 40 years that these guys are the bottom of the bad guy rung.
Right.
So
you have to remember. Go ahead. Yeah. Well, from episode 3, the Jedi who we saw get killed were surprised, shot from behind, from the back, overwhelmed. Right. In this situation, they should have had like just a bunch of stormtroopers. That's fine. Have stormtroopers do it, but just have more than you can possibly take out with a lightsaber, attacking. And they could have done that very easily because it's obviously CG. A lot of that was. So they just needed to add more of them, and it would have been a little more believable.
Yes, yeah. You should have had like stormtroopers, like it should have been a sea of white flooding into and that would have been cool. That would have been epic. Instead of just like a couple of stormtroopers getting some lucky shots off on the Jedi. I don't know.
And in fact, let's tell you what's really interesting. Knowing that Reva, the third sister we're about to see, is here in this Jedi, is one of the younglings, proves that not all the younglings were killed. So I think that's interesting going forward, knowing that.
Interesting. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, so it's starting off strong with a couple downvotes. Interesting. Okay. So let's move forward here. Timeline wise, we're back on Tatooine. Back on Tatooine. A lot of people complained about that, but I don't have any complaints about going back to Tatooine.
I mean, that's where Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, that's where Kenobi was. I just don't see how you can. I mean, I understand people complaining because we've gotten a lot of Tatooine, a lot of desert planet, but I mean, frankly speaking, I mean, that's where the scene is set. That's where Kenobi is. So we have to at least start there. And as we find out quickly, he doesn't stay here for long. But
yeah, here, listen, guys, if you guys want to complain about having too much desert planet, then go back to episode 7, sure, and say, hey, Jakku shouldn't have been a desert planet. But we literally have to start on Tatooine.
This is where Star Wars was born.
It's where it's born. It's where we left Obi-Wan. This is where it starts and where it ended. So we have to start the series on Tatooine.
Episode 4, the very first Star Wars we ever saw. This is where the story began.
Right.
So it's not strange to me.
Once again, you can complain about Jakku being basically Tatooine, sure. And I understand that complaint, but that complaint is for that movie. For this series, this is where we have to start.
I think what they're complaining about is the Book of Boba Fett is set on Tatooine. There's a lot of the Mandalorian on Tatooine. They're really talking about the series.
Yeah, and whether you like or dislike the Book of Boba Fett, that is where we ended his story.
That's true.
So I don't know. I mean, you want it to be canonically correct. That is where it has to start. So,
agreed.
And this is not even new Star Wars. We're going back to the original.
Well, yeah, because the end of Return of the Jedi is where that picks up. And if people get confused, this is nowhere near The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. This is way before that time frame.
Right.
So,
okay, enter the Inquisitors. The Inquisition. Whatever they're called. The Grand Inquisitor and... I have a question about this. Yeah. Why does all the Inquisitors have like the super pale skin, like the weird cyborg parts, but except for Reva?
I don't know deeply. I don't have a lot of background on the Inquisitors and who they are. I know they're a huge part of Star Wars Rebels. But I don't know the whole backstory. Maybe it has something to do with what level of Inquisitor you are. I really don't know. But I do know that the Grand Inquisitor who we're seeing here, played by Rupert Friend, did a really great job. A lot of people were upset that Jason Isaacs, who voiced the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels, wasn't actually cast for this show. But I think that Rupert Friend did a really good job. He has the right facial look structure, I think, over Jason. And I thought that they did really good. The Grand Inquisitor is a former Jedi temple guard, and he reports directly to Darth Vader about hunting the Jedi who survived the Great Jedi Purge. So it's incredibly important character that comes up later. And I thought it was if you're going to have the period of time where you're dealing with the Jedi Purge, and that's the story with Obi-Wan Kenobi, then these are great adversaries to deal with.
Right.
So actually, I end up giving this an upvote. I think, you're going to go through the upvotes and downvotes, right? Yeah. You're going to call them out?
Yeah, I was going to get there right now.
Okay.
I did want to bring up one more thing before you give your score, which it looks like you've already given it. The second Inquisitor, this guy, what appears to be an Asian fellow, his voice was really cool because they had this effect on it where when he started talking, it was almost like this really low rumble, like at the very bottom end of the audio frequency, and it was like, and he would come into it with like this almost like non-human kind of deep depth to his voice, and it was a really cool audio trick. I really liked that. It made it seem like, aside from what he's wearing, he's obviously not 100%.
You know, did you notice he looks familiar?
No.
You didn't look familiar. You know, he's Han from Fast and Furious.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Good for him.
So yeah, his name is Sung Ho Kang.
Okay, so you are giving an upvote?
Yeah, just the overall Inquisitors. I thought it was nice. And so yeah, when we go into it, if you can just kind of announce the up and down vote before we talk about it.
Sure.
We can up it and down it and then mention, and then talk more about it.
Yeah, one thing, the reason I'm not going to give it an upvote or a downvote is because while the introduction was cool, I have no connection to the Inquisitors. I never watched the Clone Wars or whatever. And there was a confusion there. So there were some cool points, like with the audio voice, but also some confusion because I don't understand why they all look one way and she looks a different way if they're all Inquisitors. So those two things are going to cancel them out for me. And I'm going to leave that as a non-upvote or downvote.
Okay. Well,
I'm not trying to be picky, but that's sort of what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to be picky.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I mean, when you think of, what's interesting is, remember on Naboo, the Natalie Portman's character, when she was dressed up as the queen, her face actually looks similar to this.
Yeah, she had the white paint or whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. So this is really cool scene. They go into the bar. They're looking for Jedis. I guess there's one Jedi left. He said, in actuality, I would say the Jedi hunt themselves. Okay, and because they do good.
That was a cool line.
That was a cool line. So far everything's good here. He's basically squeezing this bar, whatever it is, to try to find this Jedi. The Jedi take off and they hunt him down. Very cool. So this is the introduction here. What we're getting here is they're trying to explain how hostile Tatooine is before they show us where Obi-Wan is. Sort of a reminder that Tatooine is a crappy place to live.
Hey, that's a sand whale.
Is that what that is?
That's how it's described. A sand whale, yeah.
So they're mining a sand whale?
It looks like it's like just a butcher shop. So they're cutting up meat out of the sand whale, which I'm assuming that all these people work there, and then somebody goes off and sells it probably into the various cities.
That's a really cool idea. But I would have so many questions. I'd be like, okay, so what does the giant sand whale eat then?
Well, there are some interesting creatures below that desert. We've seen, if you watch the Book of Boba Fett, then you know that there's dangerous things underneath the sand. And I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense to me that, but here's my question. If they're coming back day after day after day, how long is that meat good for?
I guess it depends on how deep it is into the creature, I guess, huh?
Interesting. Yeah. It's just like, it's not exactly being, I mean, I guess meat can cure over several days, but is this what Obi-Wan's been doing the whole time? It's interesting. It's a nice setting to kind of show his boring life and but it left me with a few more questions.
Yeah. Although I would love to know how the ecosystem on Tatooine works, because they have to have moisture farmers that farm moisture from the air in order to live, which is a cool idea. But then now you've explained how they eat, but what the hell does that giant 3-story creature eat?
Oh man, maybe it eats I don't know, some of the I don't know,
man, because that planet's effectively dead, but there's people just thriving on that planet. So all right.
Maybe they eat sand people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool, there was this moment where, by the way, that meat does look good. As someone who's on a diet, I'm just saying.
I want to know if he was stealing this meat every day or if he was allowed to take a little piece. That confused me a little bit. Every day he would cut a piece off and wrap it up and put it in his pocket.
Yeah, interesting. So when they're getting their pay at the end of the day for doing their job, looks like someone was about to someone was being taken advantage of, and you saw Obi-Wan sort of he flinched for a second, but he didn't respond. He kept it he kept to himself, which is what he has to do, right? Like that's his goal, is to keep a low profile so he can help Luke get to where he needs to be.
I mean, that's initially what it's supposed to be, but that's not what's happening here. Like this is actually Obi-Wan who's given up and who lost and is lost. You know, they lost the war. You know, he's forced into hiding, and while he accepted the job, ultimately he feels like everything's pointless. You know, and it's just kind of interesting that he's lost all hope at this point. And this is not the Obi-Wan we find later on when Luke gets older. So I feel like this is a kind of a natural progression of what would happen to that character after that situation, when you basically get your butt kicked by the Empire, and then you got to go into hiding, and then you're no longer can be a Jedi anymore, and you just kind of lose all of your. It's been 10 years. It's a long time.
Right, and when we finally get to the Star Wars times, it'll be a New Hope. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like this creature, this weird camel thing / elephant. I don't know. Cool looking, I guess. All right. So there's a moment here where he's cooking, he's doing his thing, talks to the Jawa. That's what that is, right, Jawa?
It is a Jawa, and I got to say, I actually love that scene a lot. It shows like how well Ewan McGregor like just becomes Obi-Wan Kenobi, because he's talking to the Jawa almost like our original Obi-Wan did. Like Alec Guinness would have spoken to him very calmly, very, he's being taken advantage of, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Well, he stole his own equipment and tried to sell it back to him, and it was kind of a joke. You could tell he kind of has this empathy or almost care for this Jawa character, which I thought was cool.
That's cool. All right, he gets his equipment, and we're gonna skip forward to this point here. There's a moment where he's dreaming, right?
Yeah, he's having nightmares.
He's having nightmares of what happened at the end of episode 3, and he gets up and he and this is going to be an upvote or downvote moment. He is trying to talk to what's his name? Master
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon, whatever his name is. Say it again.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon.
Master Qui-Gon Jinn.
So how do you feel about this?
Well, definitely, I gave it an upvote because at the end of episode 3, Yoda is telling Obi-Wan that he's going to teach him how to talk to Qui-Gon. And so it's just a really good connection that he apparently was taught how to do it, but is having trouble reaching him. Like something has happened personally where he's maybe got so far away from the Force, so far away from being a Jedi, that he can't connect with Qui-Gon anymore and talk to him.
Okay, I like that. I'll give that an upvote too. That's good. I like that idea.
Right?
Yeah, when I first watched it, I was like, I wonder if this is very important, but it is, because it's showing that the character itself has gotten, like you said, gotten away from the Force. He's not able to communicate with Qui-Gon. Okay, now back at it. He's gonna go and he's gonna spy on Luke a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's what he's there to do. So it's kind of good that they showed us that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about this scene with Luke?
Well, I gave it an upvote because I thought it was interesting that the introduction to Luke is basically he's supposed to be helping Uncle Owen, but then he runs off to go pretend like he's flying flying fighters. So guess what? That is exactly what the Luke we met originally wanted to do. So they took the essence of that character that we see later on in episode 4, and they show that the young boy, the 10-year-old boy, is that same character, and I like that.
Okay.
But I also got to say, I love the fact that Uncle Owen, the role is being reprised by Joel Edgerton, who played Uncle Owen in episode 3.
Yes, I did like that.
Same character.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, I don't think that's worthy of an upvote or downvote. Nothing bad about it, nothing good about it. It was just sort of it sort of is. So I'm at a 0 there. I did like I don't know, I have this weird fascination with the whole moisture farming thing. So anytime you want to show me the moisture farm and how it works, please.
It's iconic. It's iconic.
Yeah.
It's it's childhood memories.
Yeah, my introduction to like science was like the whole moisture farm idea, and when I remember asking like my uncle Rick or something what that was about, and he explained how like they're pulling water out of the air, and that's what they sell, like a farmer, but they're farming water. And I was like, whoa, that's trippy. I was like a 9-year-old. I'm like, that's trippy as hell, bro. It's very cool though. Okay, okay. Now this introduction with the other Jedi that was running from the Inquisitors.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, a lot of people criticize this. How did he find Obi-Wan so quickly? Do you have an answer for this?
I mean, they didn't give us very specifics about this relationship, but it's probably that the Jedi have some idea of maybe where he would be. But in this case, I don't think so, because he says, "I thought I saw you in town," is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what's made him, I guess, come out here looking for him. And I don't know if, I mean, they don't know that Obi-Wan Kenobi is here. Like the Inquisitors, they kind of make you think that maybe they're there looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi as well, but they're not. They're there chasing this Jedi. So this Jedi thinks that he just saw Obi-Wan Kenobi, which he goes looking for him and finds him. But if the Inquisitors knew that Obi-Wan was there, then they might have been searching for him as well. And apparently Reva has some powers, which we'll talk about later, that if he's anywhere near her, she's going to know.
Interesting.
So they just didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
They brought up his name, but they didn't know.
They didn't.
They were looking for this guy.
Yeah, they didn't know he was there, but this guy somehow did.
He did because he thought he saw him in town. So he went looking for him to get help. And then we see the characters, you know, again, would Obi-Wan ever not help a fellow Jedi in need? No. But his character's so far gone, he's told him, go bury your lightsaber in the desert and go live a normal life. You know, and it just shows this, you know, how far down his character's has fallen.
Right. Okay. And we're on, what is this? Coruscant? What's the name of the planet?
That's Alderaan.
Alderaan. Thank you. By the way, I love this. This thing looks great.
Yeah, it was actually really nice seeing Alderaan. I mean, because, you know, later on, of course, in episode 4, it just gets blown up. So
right. And introduction to Leia. This is going to be an upvote or downvote moment. So, yay or nay, my friend?
I gave it an upvote. I thought that, I know there's a lot of complaining out there that Leia's kind of a brat and, you know, pushy kid, and now the story's all about her, and people are saying that kind of stuff. But in reality, this character is exactly what the older character is going to be. She's a troublemaker. She's outspoken. She's independent. And that's true to the original character. And so having a kid who's, you know, probably a little bit, I mean, they don't just all of a sudden become that way when they're 20 years old. It had to come from something.
Right.
You know, is it a little strong? Yeah, perhaps. But, you know, I thought it was played pretty well by Vivian Lear Blair. She's the little girl who plays her. And I thought she did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I'm also giving an upvote for the same reason. This reminded me of Carrie Fisher's Leia perfectly. I don't know. I really don't know why anyone would complain about this. Although maybe people would complain because they don't have kids and don't understand how kids work. But like, listen, guys. I have 2 daughters, and they're just like this. The one is very, you know, sort of a comical troublemaker. She causes trouble. She has a lot of energy, and the other one's a little more, you know, not outspoken. She likes to play on her tablet. Different personalities, and the personality we see with Carrie Fisher's Leia later on, in my opinion, matches this little girl's personality to the T. I don't understand how anyone can complain about this. It makes no sense to me. I was actually getting annoyed seeing the complaints, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not even fair. It's not even fair that the little girl is playing a little girl. Like, this is not a new character. This is Leia.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, is to be like the devil's advocate, she was a little bit more grown up than maybe you would see typically. Like, she come across more adultish, but I don't think it was so far removed from the original character that was that big of a deal that it needed to be, you know, complained about.
I mean, she made a lot of mistakes. The little girl made mistakes, like a little kid would too. So
yes, eventually she did. Yeah.
Yeah, she's treated like a princess. So she's pushy, and she's I don't know. To me, it fit the actual character of Leia pretty much perfectly. I don't know.
I thought so.
What the complaint would be about. Yeah, I just don't know. Now was the scene dragged out a little bit? It did. Felt a little dragged out, But that's a
mom gave in. The mom gave in to the daughter, which might show a little bit of her selfishness, or spoiled. The fact that she is a bit spoiled.
Right.
Mundane.
A few scenes this whole episode, which we'll talk about, did feel like some stuff did feel a little bit like it could have been sped up pace wise. But
yeah, there was some slowness to this for sure.
All right, this is Ben complaining about don't talk to my nephew, don't give him any presents, leave him alone. He doesn't want Luke to get involved with these guys, the Grand Inquisitors or whatever they're called, right? Which I totally get. And Ben shows some serious fortitude here when he is accosted by what's her name, Reva. And by the way, this is going to be an upvote, downvote moment. Sorry I didn't make that clear. When he's accosted by Reva, and he's questioned. So before we get into all that, Shane, how do you feel about the meeting between Owen and Kenobi, and this whole sort of reintroduction to Ben?
I think it was important to the story. In A New Hope, Owen doesn't want Luke to have anything to do with old Ben Kenobi, doesn't want him to run off and do his thing. So the character stays, pretty much the same here. And you've got, that moment where Obi-Wan's like, hey, he needs to be trained, which kind of surprises me a little bit that comment came considering where Obi-Wan's at, that he would actually approach him. I mean, he was basically giving Owen a toy, but it was to help him train, I guess, in the future. And the fact that Obi-Wan's character at this point is thinking about training Luke is a little bit of a surprise, and actually probably not good. Doesn't align with his character, because he's telling every other Jedi to bury their lightsaber and run away.
Right.
So I'm not sure why he's concerned with trying to train Luke right now. So I thought that was not good, and probably just an opportunity where they wanted to, get the two together and have this conversation. And also, so I did give this a downvote overall. Owen being the target and then being saved by other Inquisitors while Obi-Wan watches just didn't feel very right to me. It felt too convenient. Why are the other Inquisitors not as evil as Third Sister?
Well, that's another upvote.
Not as evil.
Hold up, that's a whole another upvote downvote moment. So let's.
I just combined the two. I figured you were combining both.
I apologize. No, I misspoke that. No.
Then I would downvote. Yeah. Then I would downvote.
You downvote.
Just give me one downvote for the whole thing.
Okay.
Because it's all, to me, it's connected, I guess.
Okay, so for me, the meeting between Obi-Wan and Ben was a 0. I felt it needed to happen, but it didn't move the needle for me either way. But I do give the meeting between Owen and the Inquisitors an upvote, because the majority of the scene that we have, I mean, yes, Obi-Wan not getting involved, that sort of fits his character right now. But he just said, I don't want Obi-Wan to be involved. He's not going to get involved with anything, but he also wants to train Luke. So, pick a lane, bud. But the incredible testicular fortitude that Ben have, it made me, this character for me used to be a whatever character. It was a character attached to Luke. It didn't matter to me. It was like his purpose there is to get Luke to an adulthood and then die, right? So he was just a motivation character at best. But then seeing him stand up to this clearly extraordinarily evil person, she's threatening his life, and she just showed that she will follow through with that. And he's still like, I don't do whatever you gotta do. I mean, it just felt like all of a sudden I had more of respect for this character that I previously had no thoughts about. So
and that's why it got a downvote from me. because it was unlike Owen's character. And on top of that, he says something to Ben. He's like, Ben says, "Thank you, Owen." And he says, "I didn't do it for you," which made me then ask the question, well, then who did he do it for?
Luke.
So he stood there and almost got his head cut off for Luke?
Right.
Why?
Because Luke is a Jedi.
He doesn't want Luke to be a Jedi.
Yeah, but he knows that he's force sensitive. He's probably seen plenty of stuff. So he's like, I'm not gonna feed into this.
No. That's not, that don't work for me. So there's no way he can be anti-Luke becoming a Jedi, not being trained by Kenobi, and then all of a sudden do this so that someday Luke can become a Jedi.
Well, maybe he knows that eventually Luke is gonna need Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Nope. That character and everything we've ever seen right up until this moment is no Kenobi, stay on the farm, no. The whole time. So they're introducing that here is not believable to me that he would someday be concerned about him being a Jedi.
I gotta disagree because I think that even if he doesn't want it to happen, he's got to know somewhere deep down it's got to happen eventually.
I mean, I get that you say that, but show me any proof that the characters ever felt that way.
Well, they're showing the proof right now.
No. Before that, we're rating it right now based on what we know.
Once again, though, this is the problem with prequels.
I get it.
The problem with prequels. Yeah. They're showing you the motivation beforehand because they can't go back in time physically. I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's
what they could do is treat the character with the appropriate responsibility, which would have been, perhaps he's about to give Obi-Wan away, right? And then the Inquisitors stop her before he can say what he's going to say. But because his comment afterwards, "I didn't do it for you," that is not clear at all for us. Now, maybe later on something will happen that's clear, but making Owen a completely different character than we end up seeing in the future is just a little bit suspect to me. So yet to be determined.
Yeah, once again, problem with prequels. But
changing the character, you can do prequels without changing the characters. You can do it.
I mean, but characters, especially in the span of 30 years, are going to change. They're going to modify. Their opinions and the beliefs are going to.
Well, it's 10 years. So yeah, they will. He will modify his changes in belief. Right now, he doesn't want Obi-Wan to have anything to do with Luke, but yet he stopped it so Luke can someday become a Jedi. That's a problem for me. All in one scene. I don't know.
All right. It's fair. Once again, by the way, I feel like this is the problem that plagues most prequels.
I agree.
Which is it's so hard to make a prequel. It's
tough, man. You get you're boxed. You're boxed in.
Right.
They can be great. Rogue One was an excellent prequel.
Right, but you know what Rogue One had going for it, Shane?
What's that?
We didn't know any of the main characters.
Yes, that helps a lot. Until the end, we got some Obi-Wan, or we got some Darth Vader.
We got a little bit at the end, but we those characters. It's a prequel, but we didn't know, and it was super fitting. Spoiler alert: that they all died.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Excellent movie, by the way. The other day I went and watched. I watched a little bit of that again. I'm like, wow, what a great movie this is.
It is a really good one.
It's really fun. It's one of the better.
It's probably the best Star Wars movie that's come out since Disney's owned it. Right. It's even better than 7.
It is better than 7, yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna.
I love that little peek of C-3PO.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, when they were in the. Well, you get to see it right now in a second. You're gonna. Yeah, the C-3PO's in the.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah, hanging out. So we get to see. Of course, we know that at the end of 3, they wiped his memory, and he's part of, Princess Leia's family.
That's cool.
Also, we didn't talk about Jimmy Smits being back. That was wonderful. Of course, he plays Senator Organa.
And, yeah.
And he's back as her, as her adopted father. And really, it's him, Yoda, and Obi-Wan are really the only 3 people who know what's going on.
Yeah. Can I tell you something that's incredible?
Sure.
The CGI used to age this dude down appropriately.
Did they?
Yes, because I have seen him with no makeup as late as 7 or 8 years ago on Dexter, where he played a bad guy, and he is much older than what he appears here. The way he appears here.
Maybe I'm not seeing any more recent images of him.
Yeah, look at him in Dexter a few years ago.
Huh.
Great, by the way, great actor. Did great in that show too. but yeah, there's some CGI used here to age him down for sure. Okay, yeah, see here too. Looks great. You can see some of the CGI though in freezes. All right. So the next upvote, downvote moment is the kidnapping. Shane?
Well, I gotta say, I would love to give it an upvote because we got Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers here, and I got to tell you, any role that Flea ever plays, whether it's going back to the Future or Back to the Future 2 or 3, and that movie with Point Break, he's been in movies throughout his career, and I love him.
Give it away now.
I love him, and I loved him here. He played a slimy kidnapper, but it got a downvote for me.
Yeah, you know what's? I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you go, but I'm gonna tell you, got a downvote for me too.
Yeah, it got a downvote because no little girl should be able to get away for those 3 adults that like that, for so long. I mean, they eventually capture her, but it's just really drawn out.
Very dragged out.
She shouldn't be able to. She's 9 or 10 years old. There's no way she's getting away from like that.
Now, and the devil's advocate here is like she knows she like that's her garden or whatever. She knows all the ins and outs, and
then have her going through trap doors or interesting things, not just running around a tree, and the adult can't go faster than she can.
You got to make it clear that she is so well versed with the layout that she is that. Well, that's how she's able to avoid them for so long.
Not just run away from them.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, why is it that the good guys in Star Wars are completely incompetent?
Well, they're just as bad as the stormtroopers.
I mean,
honestly,
dude, the palace guards, the Jedi's, like everyone in Star Wars. If you're a good guy, until you absolutely need to be the better character, you're always the worst. It drives me nuts. There needs to be a little more. I'm not gonna give this up or down vote, but for the love of God, there's got to be a little more, equalization here between the abilities that the good guys and bad guys have. When it's time for the good guys to win, the bad guys can't just be dumb stormtroopers that are shooting themselves in the head, right?
It's always been that way.
It's always been that way, and it's always driven me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see, as a joke one day, a stormtrooper go to shoot someone and then get spun around and just shoot himself in the face.
Well, you remember the scene from the Phantom Menace where they're basically, all the little droid troops are just, it's ridiculous. So they're just shooting each other. They go down by just looking at them. Okay.
So dumb. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of, so she gets kidnapped, and another thing too is I don't know. They were able to communicate with Ben a little too easy. IMO. I'm sorry, Obi-Wan. Why is? Yeah, and sorry. Also, they got the other Jedi guy. He dies. He's upset. But why is it that the senators it's so easy for them to communicate with Kenobi?
Well, Kenobi had that hidden 3D or whatever it was, not 3D, but hologram communicator that went off, and he had to be like, whoa. And only certain people, I'm assuming that's only him and maybe Yoda, probably know how to reach him on that thing. Mm-hmm. It was buried beneath a bunch of stuff, so he pulls it out, and there he is. And now Organa knows where he's at. He knows he's watching over Luke, so it wouldn't have been hard for him to find him.
Okay. All right, I'll accept that explanation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, he digs up his lightsaber, and he's like, I'm going to go off and save the princess. And that is the end of the episode. So, overall for me, and this is going to be an up and down vote, folks. Overall for me, I'm giving the episode an overall upvote because I believe that it was a proper reintroduction, to Obi-Wan in the world of Star Wars. However, there was, I'm not giving it a double upvote, which would be a perfect introduction because I do believe there's some pacing issues. Shane?
Yeah, I would give it, I'm giving it overall upvote because I felt like they did a really good job of connecting episode 3 with this, and all of the characters except for Owen, in my opinion, seem to have naturally grown in the course of what they are and what they will become eventually. So I felt like they did a really good job of connecting the two, and they brought back like Joel Edgerton, and they brought back Jimmy Smits, and I just thought it was really well. It was a good first episode, even though it was a little bit slow in places.
Right. Okay. Now, because this is a unique review for us, and I do want to give it. I want to give the double premiere an individual score. An overall score. How do you feel about starting out this with a 2-point handicap?
No, I feel like we should start over, but
okay,
if we're going to give each episode its own score,
that's fair.
So this would be a 2, and just note that the one thing that's different, if you've watched our other reviews, the one thing that's different about this one is in the past, Brian and I have just thrown our ups and downs in there, at will whenever we wanted to. But now we kind of tried to find places where we both up and down voted. So that's why the score is probably going to be a little lower. If it's a 0, then that means, we didn't dislike it or like it. So 2 means that we overall liked it more than we disliked it.
Right. 2. All right. 2 for episode 1. And
2 for episode 1.
2 for episode 1. So resetting the scores.
And what did you guys think about episode 1? Tell us while you're watching this in the chat below.
All right, let's talk about episode 2, shall we?
Yes.
2-part premiere. Okay. Now we open up on a suite. What is this planet? Dayu?
Oh, it's planet Dayu.
Okay, now we're gonna start off right. We're gonna start off strong. An upvote or downvote before we get into planet Dayu. On planet Dayu. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I gave it an upvote. It was nice to be off Tatooine. I think it had to happen. We didn't want to stay there the whole time. I thought it played its part. Also, I got this really great idea of, we see a lot of spice, the drug here, and that's attached to Tatooine. So you can see how this is connected to the same universe, even though it feels like Blade Runner almost,
or Dune,
like all the settings and stuff. It was nice to see that, to see this other planet. It seems to be under the control of Darth Vader and the Empire. So
yeah, I'm also giving it an upvote because I like the planet. It reminded me of Cyberpunk, and you know what? If that makes me a straight up basic nerd, then I'm okay with that because I thought it's cool.
We are basic nerds.
It's a cool. It reminded me of Cyberpunk. I liked the Cyberpunk aesthetics. Yeah, it had Blade Runner vibes to it too. A little Fifth Element vibes to it. It was just an overall cool little had that cool sci-fi vibe. I am really getting tired. I'm not gonna give this an up or down, but I'm getting tired of everyone using spice as the term for like the sci-fi drug. Even in video games, it's like, yo man, you got any spice? I'm like, yeah, okay, we get it. We understand that was a term that was used, in the 70s.
It's in Star Wars. It's in Dune. It's in, like you said, video games.
Fifth Element. They use Fifth Element. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired of that. Like, find another name for it. Or maybe that's just now that's the sci-fi name for drug. Spice.
maybe this is what it is.
When they go like hyperspace and warp are like two competing ways of saying faster than light travel.
Right.
And the only reason they're competing is because Star Wars and Star Trek are competing. But had one edged out the other way before, in the zeitgeist, it would have been warp or, hyperspace. And you see some movies that would just say hyperspace. Like, that is a Star Wars term. So now I guess spice is just like drug.
But I think warp speed did win out ultimately. I think people would more associate warp speed with than hyperspeed.
Yeah, well, what helped is that like actual scientists that are studying faster than light travel call it now warp.
Yeah,
like they call it warp speed.
Shout out to one of our members, Chris Retzleff. He says that the girl who's actually giving the spice to Obi-Wan is Ewan McGregor's real daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
All right, so we both gave it up votes. That's good. And there she is. Yo, man, you want some free spice?
What's funny is I was kind of criticized. I'm like, what the heck are they doing giving somebody free spice? They just, and I guess they want to get them addicted. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way drug dealers do it in real life, right? Like,
yeah,
hey,
it comes in handy later.
I get it. Maybe you don't want any crack, but let me give you a little free sample, okay? You come back at me when you need it. Oh, this is a cool scene. Let's talk about. I'm sorry. Tamara Morrison? Why is that on my notes?
Because Tamara is the that you'll see him where he's the old clone war guy on the edge looking with a sign, and then he looks up and you see his face.
Oh, I don't see. I thought we were about to be introduced to the Jedi guy.
It's probably just before the spice.
Oh, the spice.
He turns around and he looks and he sees him. There he is, right there.
Oh, this guy. I see. Clone good.
So of course it's Tamura. He plays Boba Fett. He played, Jango. He is, and that's him. You get a close up of his face if you go maybe one more, two more.
Oh, so he's like a clone of Boba Fett.
Yeah, well, he's not. He's Jango Fett was the clone.
I'm sorry, he's a clone.
Boba Fett was the son. Yeah, so
he's a clone of Jango Fett.
Yes,
it's cool.
Jango Fett was the clone. Was the pattern that everybody made. Yeah,
right. Which is why he looks like Jango Fett.
Right. They all look the same, which I thought was really cool. And this actually got an upvote for me.
Okay.
Because they made the connection. They reminded us that who the clones are, what they look like. They're able to use the character who was just in the book of Boba Fett to pull it off. It was fast, but it was a nice little Easter egg. And also something very interesting is that his blue and white armor that you see there suggests he was a member of the 501st Legion, which was led by Anakin. So that makes this encounter even more personal for Obi-Wan because he would recognize that.
So you know what? I wouldn't have given this a downvote had you not explained that, but I'm going to have to give it a downvote.
Okay.
Because that is a really cool thing. That is the actor that plays Boba Fett. And what you just said, all very cool. I had no idea that any of that was happening. I didn't know that was Tamara Morrison. I didn't.
No, you can't downvote it because you don't know.
No, because they didn't make it clear enough how important this was. You knew, but you are special, sir. You are one of those people that
I watched it.
You'll watch the episode and then go back and watch it at 0.25 the speed.
I recognized it when it happened.
Most people are not recognizing that.
It was fast. I will give you this. It was fast. And
downvote for me.
Which makes this even more interesting is Obi-Wan actually, I believe he's asking Qui-Gon for a guidance just before this. So it is actually a little confusing as you go into this and you see it. I'm looking at the clothes. I'm like, holy crap, that's Tamura. What the? And then it kind of kept going. And I'm like, oh, I see. Then I saw the Stormtrooper, the gear. And I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, really cool idea. It's earning a downvote because it wasn't.
So you downvoted it because I upvoted it. Is that what?
No, I'm downvoting it because you know what? If we would have glossed over this, I wouldn't have given a downvote. But because you explained what they were trying to do, I'm saying they failed to do it.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So let's talk about Kumail Nanjiani. I can't say these names, Shane.
Kumail Nanjiani. Yeah. Kumail. Gosh, dude.
Love him.
Upvote for me.
Upvote for me too. Upvote
Absolutely
right away.
Love this character. Love this character. Love this. This is, listen, when you introduce new characters, it's cool because they get to be anything you want them to be. And honestly, even though I love the member berries of all the old original characters, and I can't wait to see like Vader and Obi-Wan come together, it's kind of these new characters that are giving me the good feels about the show.
Right.
Is this, this character who's like a low life, dirty rat con man, right? And pretending to be a Jedi. And all of a sudden he's, you'll find out later, I guess. I don't want to spoil it right now, but in the beginning, he's conning some lady and son, but you find out later he's more of a heart of gold kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Although I do feel, and we'll get to that point, Reba should have killed him. The fact that she didn't was because he had plot armor. Because if she's killing everyone else, but she doesn't kill this guy for some reason. But we'll
no, that's actually a really good point. The character's name is Haja.
Haja. Yeah, so Haja's great. This whole scene is cool. And he did say, listen, it's a win-win. I get under safety, they give me some credits they're not going to use anymore. Win-win. All right. I mean, sure. It's technically a win-win, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. He did point that out. But although you don't trust him at this point. And you even don't trust him when he tells Obi-Wan, can I trust you? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah. It was great, though. I did like this introduction. I liked everything about this character so far. Almost makes me wish there was a Star Wars series where it was just like about like this planet,
Oh yeah, and this kind of stuff going on. See, that's what a good show does, right? It makes you want more.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the rooftop fight. Let's actually get to it though. Real quick before we get there though. I loved walking through the city and seeing all the different alien stuff and all that. I mean, it's just I don't want to go back to Cyberpunk or whatever, but or Fifth Element or the original Star Wars. Like, this is what good science fiction does. It makes you wonder about the world they're in, and it takes you out of it just enough to make you interested in what's happening, but also you're able to recognize what's happening generally so that you don't feel out of place. Like, there's a lot of science fiction movies and TV shows that are so different, so wildly alien, that you can't, you actually lose interest because it's not familiar enough for you to be like, oh, what's that?
Yeah, and there's that great scene there where he infiltrates a spice lab, right, where they're making spice, and then he sets off one of the Bunsen burners to explode, right, and so then he pickpockets this guy, although it was one of the weakest pickpockets I've seen, and that guy should have known he was pickpocketed, right, and then to go through the door to get to the back area, so it was cool.
Yeah, so spice is basically meth. That's what we figured out, right?
I mean, well, spice seems to be in powder form, whereas meth is crystal. So I don't know. Maybe it's more like cocaine.
Oh, that makes more sense too. All right, but it's a setup, Shane. It's a setup.
Well, yeah, that's true. It is.
By the way,
which is weird. How do they know? I guess they knew he was going to come because.
I mean, I knew it was a setup. Like the second he opened the door, like there was no way that wasn't a setup.
Did the little metal non-doll thing, non-Princess Leia, give it away?
I mean, like it just felt so easy. I was like, oh. There should have been a moment where he's like, this almost feels too easy.
It gets hard, though. It gets hard pretty quick, especially when he's in that hallway. Actually, just before this scene, he's in the hallway and he gets punched for the first time, right? By that, not the Darth Maul character, but the other character that looks like Darth,
Oh, yeah. He has the horns and hurts his hand.
And he gets punched, right? And Obi-Wan kind of turns to the camera and gives face down. You're like, you realize that dude ain't been punched in like 10 years.
Right.
Probably, he's like, I love that they actually showed him out of shape, not in fighting form.
Yeah, he pops the spice in there, leaves him in there, finds Leia.
That was good. That was a very Obi-Wan thing to do.
Yeah, very Obi-Wan. I like how Leia was like, I like the way she was questioning him. Like, yeah, hold up, bud. I don't know about this. Where's your army? Why is it just one dude? I mean, I get that. Although anyone at this point is a good savior. So
that's what I was thinking. I see why people are bothered by it, because if you're a child that's terrified that you've just been kidnapped, the first person willing to get you out of there, you're probably going to go with at 10 years old. So,
right.
But okay. So that was the irritating thing, was this whole like untrusting relationship. But like I said, it's not so far removed from Princess Leia that it's unbelievable. It was a little bit over the top though.
All right, so enter the Inquisitors. I know you wanted to upvote and downvote the rooftop fight. You want to tell me a little about that?
Oh, well, here's the thing is, did I upvote it and downvote it? Oh, upvote, downvote, yes. Here's the thing. The rooftop fight was like crazy because Obi-Wan's trying to stop Leia from running from him, but he's getting shot at, so he's got to stop. And the reason I gave it a downvote was no 10-year-old kids jumping off of a roof and trying to grab a wire.
Right.
It ain't happening, so that was a little unbelievable. But it did give Obi-Wan a chance to use the Force, which is something he desperately needed to do as a character.
Yes.
To get that strength, to get that ability strengthened. And in that moment, that was probably the only moment that was going to make him do it. As you notice, he's not using his lightsaber yet. He's using a blaster. He's just not there yet. So it was like a step that needed to happen. Having Leia jump off of a building at 10 years old was just not realistic to me.
Right. And I think that that is a worthy downvote from...
But you can downvote mine there if you want.
It's a worthy downvote from me as well. Because I felt like this scene was way too much, took too much time. Mm-hmm. And the entire purpose of it was, the sole purpose of it, I might add, was to get him to use his powers. When the whole audience knows that he's a Jedi, and we don't need a reason for him to be a Jedi. So I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, is it assuming some of the audience maybe doesn't know he's a Jedi? Like, what's the point of the reveal?
I'm sorry, which one? Obi-Wan?
Yeah, what's the point of like him not using his powers?
Oh, because the other Force sensitive people can sense it. So the whole idea was for him to stay hidden. And I think part of it was he was using that as an excuse because he had given up and was out of practice, which is why he can't reach Qui-Gon, which is why he's not using you know what I'm saying? He's not sensitive as he was because he stopped believing. All right.
Well, it still doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think I just explained it.
I mean, it doesn't though. Like you're. He doesn't want to use it because the other force sensitive people can suss it out. Except for they're already chasing him, Shane.
That's one of the reasons, though. The bigger reason, and you've seen it everywhere, is that he's given up. He doesn't want to. He's an internal failure, and he's not even sure he can. He can't connect with Qui-Gon, so he doesn't want to try and be more of a failure, I guess.
But he's given up, but he's still going to save Leia.
I mean, desperation. It's like a desperate child. This moment. I just feel like it's extraordinarily realistic. Okay. Like, I feel like that's exactly what someone who has that power would try to do to save somebody that, that was important to them. And Leia's important to him. Remember, he goes through the portion here where he talks about Padme and say, you remind me of someone. He's talking to Leia, explained her, you remind me of someone. He doesn't say it's her mom. So he's got this probably natural, genuine love and care for her and Luke just because of the way he felt about Anakin and Padme.
Right. All right. That's fair. All right. All right. He saves her. Cool. This is when he runs into what's his name? Hajjad? What's his name?
Haja. Yeah.
Haja. Love this. This was that reveal that Haja's not a bad dude. Hopefully we see him throughout the series though, right? Because they're leaving that planet. So
we do. He's in 5 episodes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
We'll
see more.
That's great. You expect me to trust you? You're a criminal. Well, technically, you're a criminal too, bro.
Yeah. Technically you are.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get to. So he's being chased by Reva, and Haja decides to be a hero and slow down Reva, which I thought was great.
Yeah, my upvotes and downvotes aren't going to move here because I'm upvoting the way he bravely steps up to Reva without realizing how much danger he's really in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure his character does this if he thinks that she's going to just kill him.
Right.
So I gave that an upvote because I thought it was hilarious and I loved that he's pretending to be a Jedi, and even though she's like basically calling him out, he's not stopping pretending. Right. It's this whole his comedic. He's such a good comedian in his own way. But then I downvote the fact that she's able to basically just remove from his mind what she needs. And I'm sorry. That's not something that maybe that's a power that the Sith have. Maybe that's a power. It's just like, I need to know exactly how powerful Reva is, because they've kind of made her like really super powerful. All the other Inquisitors aren't using any dark side forces to do things, but she sure seems to be lighting it up. And the fact that she's able to pull exactly where Obi-Wan and Princess Leia are going seems a little bit too OP for me.
Right. And my question is, why didn't she kill him?
A nice head. Nice hat, Shane.
Yeah, I'm just putting it here so that when you start lagging again, I can put it in front of your face.
Oh, well, hopefully I don't lag again.
You've been lagging like crazy for like 7 minutes straight like that.
Right now still?
Yeah. It's okay. You're fine right now.
Oh.
It's all right. But next time you lag, I'm just going to go like this.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I do feel that Reva should have just... the second she realized that he was wasting her time, I don't understand why she didn't just kill him. But, I mean, I do understand.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same place where I'm upvoting the meeting. I'm downvoting the conclusion. So it's...
Now, she didn't kill everyone that she ran into. Let's be fair. She didn't just off every person. She only offed the people who were stopping her in some way. And but he was so idiotic in the way he was trying to stop her. It's almost like he wasn't worth her lightsaber. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but the real reason is because he has plot armor. And,
yes, that's true.
And so whenever that's apparent, that gets a downvote. But his meeting with her in general, he was so great. That's not vote, so that means it's cancels each other out. All right. All right. The fact that she can read his mind too.
Yeah.
She seems very strong.
Yes, very powerful.
All right. Okay. So during this fight, Reva reveals to Obi-Wan that Anakin is still alive.
Downvote.
Downvote. Instant downvote. For me too, it's also a downvote.
She should not. I mean, in my opinion, she shouldn't know that Anakin is Darth Vader.
Right.
I think that's reserved for a very, very, very few people. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not wrong that she does. It just didn't feel right. So. Yeah.
They could have had the same exact speech and nixed the whole Anakin thing and just said Lord Vader. It could have just been about Lord Vader. And if you really wanted him, he could have put the connection together if he wanted to.
Well, he didn't know, actually. He didn't even know that. He doesn't know who Darth Vader is. He knows nothing. The last thing he remembers is leaving him for dead on Mustafar.
Right.
So he doesn't. So Vader wouldn't mean anything to him. Well, maybe no, he would. Did he hear that he was Vader? Because he named the Emperor named Anakin Darth Vader before he fought Obi-Wan, but I don't remember if he actually told him that was his name or whatever.
Well,
so maybe.
Yeah. So I don't like the fact that she knew who he is. So that's what I gave it downvote to. And that could have been done differently. Like if you really wanted to get the information to him in some way, I don't know, but that was done wrong. So downvote for me. All right. We're moving on to Reva kills the Grand Inquisitor. Or does she? She doesn't actually kill him though, right?
That's why it's upvoted.
Okay.
The reason it's upvoted was because I love that we've got a mystery going here. He looks like he's killed, but if you're familiar with Rebels at all, this guy doesn't actually die for like another 4 years. Yeah. So, and because we know that Rebels is canon, because Disney says it is, and we don't have any choice but to believe what they tell us to believe because that's their choice, then we know that this character has to come back.
Yeah, and I have a general Star Wars complaint here.
Okay.
You can always tell who may or may not be coming back based on how the lightsaber kills him, right? It's like she's using the lightsaber like it's a sword. She's like, plunge and ha. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't just cut him in half. It's excessive. Wow. Like you gotta grab him, you gotta like force the lightsaber. It's a lightsaber. Like,
I mean, not that it would matter because Maul was really hacked in half. Darth Maul, and yet he comes back. So
that's true. Yeah, I am. You gave it an upvote, you said?
Yeah, I gave an upvote for the mystery. I really like that it's going to play into the story going forward, and I think Reva is going to have some problems ahead of her for doing this.
Okay. I mean, I guess there's a mystery there. I feel like I need to give it an upvote or a downvote, but
I mean, it's if you feel it, if it meant anything to you. For me, it was, well, that's. I mean, it could be a downvote because you're like, well, wait a sec, but it just, I don't know. I think that for me, it creates a mystery. But if you don't know who this character is, you could be like downvoting it because, wow, they just killed this dude off all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I feel like. So, like, while your explanation makes it better, but from what I see on the screen, having not watched Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever, this person just seems completely and utterly out of control, to the fact where she kills, like, this guy who's, like, not only her boss, but, like, her grand boss, right?
Yeah, the Grand Inquisitor.
So I'm going to go and give that a downvote. Because I didn't watch Clone Wars, I didn't watch Rebels, I had no connection to the Inquisitor. I wanted to know more about this character, and you just killed him. From my perspective, right?
And just note going forward, anything that happened after 2015, since Disney bought it, is considered canon. That includes comic books, that includes books, that includes, all the animated series. Disney has officially said all of that is canon.
Right.
So by going forward, just so you know, I mean, that's what canon is for Star Wars. And it's canon in Star Wars is crazy difficult to understand. So
right. Okay. So now we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon with the simple fact that Obi-Wan and Leia, they get away. And Reva is pissed and she's screaming to the heavens, blah blah. And we end with this right here. How do you feel about this, Shane?
I gave the overall episode a downvote.
Okay.
So we're 2 episodes in, and this is all we have of Vader.
So for me, it's an overall upvote.
Okay.
Even though I had the lower score individually, overall, I would say it's an upvote because I did like a lot of the visual stuff. Go ahead.
I need more Vader in this series. This is, we only have 4 episodes left. So if we don't start getting more Darth Vader, like if he shows up in the 6th episode or something like that, then this is going to be a huge disappointment for me. They're not making another Obi-Wan series. Okay, so they went out, Ewan McGregor wants to make another one, but it's not in the plans for the Disney studio, for Lucasfilm.
Right.
Not in the plans. So, what we get here is going to be the story for now. I mean, something could change in the future, but I just will be very disappointed if we get like one lightsaber scene at the end between, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor.
Right. Yeah, same here. That would bother me. Okay. All right. So we're on the same page. What's our overall score here, Shane? You got a +2 and I got a -1. So how do you average that out?
Well, it's like a 0.5.
All right. So this got a 0.5.
It's still positive overall. It's
still an overall, still a positive score. That's right. Okay.
It's a 0.5. Yeah, that is it.
That's it. That's 0.5. So next week's episode, or this week's episode, I should say, hopefully it's even better. And you'll know on Wednesday if you come to the members stream. Wednesday morning, we're gonna do it again, right, Shane?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. We're gonna get going, but we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, let's talk to our members.